Welcome, dreamer. If you're here, maybe you're tired. Maybe your mind has been spinning for too long. Tonight, let these words be your silence. Ashes that didn't burn. In the neon-drenched alleyways of a city that never sleeps, I once stood, a beacon of raw truth. My flame burned bright, unapologetic, casting long shadows across rain-slicked pavement. I offered my light to a world shrouded in darkness, believing in the power of authenticity. But you, oh you, came like a whisper in the night. Silent steps, eyes that reflected nothing but the artificial glow of distant signs. You looked at my fire and saw not warmth, but danger. Not passion, but chaos. You called me too much, as if truth could be measured in careful doses. I remember the moment I started to fade, not because I believed your words, but because even the brightest flames grow weary of being feared. I watched as others burned with a more palatable light, blue flames that gave no heat, perfect coals that held no history. They danced in the reflections of broken mirrors, casting shadows that you seemed to love more than any real illumination. I stood in doorways, a spectator to the grand illusion. Lips moved in silent praise of masks that never slipped, of performances so polished they gleamed like fool's gold in the artificial light. I offered the real, ugly, cracked, unfiltered, but reality bleeds, doesn't it? And you, with your pristine facade, were far too clean for the mess of truth. Now, I walk these streets with matches in my pocket, but I light nothing. The world, it seems, prefers the brief spark of a lighter to the sustained burn of a bonfire. They want the illusion of warmth without the risk of getting burned. So, I've learned to carry my heat inward, tucked beneath layers that no one gets to peel away. You taught me that lesson well. Even now, as I move through this city of shadows and light, the smoke of your memory clings to me. It's sweet, toxic, lingering far longer than it has any right to. I've stopped inhaling, let it rise, curl into the night sky like a forgotten dream. You were never the fire I thought you were. It's only the illusion of it, a trick of light and shadow. But here's the truth that burns brighter than any neon sign. I'm reclaiming my warmth. It may not blaze for all to see, but it smolders within, a constant reminder of who I am. In a world that rewards the perfect performance, I choose to be imperfectly real. The city moves around me, a symphony of light and dark. Raindrops catch the glow of distant signs, turning the pavement into a kaleidoscope of color. Pass by windows where blue light flickers, telling stories of lives I'll never know. Gold sparks dance in the shards of a broken mirror, reminding me that even in pieces, we reflect something true. I've learned that authenticity doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, a quiet defiance in a world of noise. My fire may not light up the sky anymore, but it burns steady within, fueling every step I take through these shadowed streets. The match in my hand remains unlit, a potential flame waiting for the right moment. I no longer feel the need to prove my worth by burning bright for others. Instead, I carry my light with me, a secret warmth that guides me through the darkest nights. As I walk, the city seems to breathe with me. The neon signs flicker like heartbeats, the distant rumble of trains like a pulse beneath the concrete. I am part of this living, breathing entity, not separate, not above, but woven into its very fabric. And there's a beauty in this resigned anger, this wounded clarity. I see the world for what it is now, a place where truth is often too sharp, too real for comfort. But I no longer dim myself to fit into the shadows. Instead, I've learned to navigate them, to find my own path through the darkness. The transition from being too much to owning my truth quietly has been a journey of its own. I no longer shout my authenticity from rooftops. Instead, I carry it with me, a constant companion that informs every interaction, every decision. In a world that often rewards illusion over substance, I've chosen substance. It may not shine as brightly in the neon glow, but it has a weight to it, a realness that can't be faked. The emotional cost of being real is high, but the cost of losing oneself to performance is higher still. As I turn a corner, I catch a glimpse of my reflection in a rain puddle. The figure looking back at me is partly hidden, smoke curling around them like a protective veil. But beneath that smoky curtain, I see eyes that burn with an inner fire, no longer seeking approval, no longer afraid of being too much. The rain begins to fall harder, a steady rhythm on the pavement. Each drop carries a fragment of neon light, creating a kaleidoscope of color at my feet. It's a reminder that even in the darkest moments, beauty finds a way to shine through. I pause beneath the awning of a closed shop, watching the interplay of light and shadow on the wet street. A cigarette burns nearby, its ember a pinpoint of defiant red in the blue-black night. For a moment, I'm tempted to light my own, to create that small, fleeting flame, but I resist. My fire burns differently now. The city stretches out before me, a labyrinth of possibilities. Each alley, each street corner holds the potential for connection, for truth, for moments of raw humanity. I may no longer light up the night sky, but I carry a flame within that guides me through this urban wilderness. As I continue my walk, I feel the weight of the matches in my pocket. They're a reminder of who I used to be, of the bright, burning creature that once stood exposed to the world. But they're also a promise that if needed, I can still light a fire. Not for show, not for others, but for myself. The neon signs blur in the rain, their messages becoming abstract paintings of light and color. In their glow, I see the faces of those who pass by, each carrying their own inner fire, their own truths. Some burn bright, some flicker uncertainly, and some have been extinguished entirely. I wonder how many of them are like me, carrying matches but lighting nothing. How many have learned to tuck their warmth away, protecting it from a world that fears authenticity? How many are waiting for the right moment, the right person to share their light with? As the night deepens, I find myself drawn to the quieter corners of the city. Here, away from the constant glare of neon and the ceaseless hum of traffic, I can hear my own thoughts more clearly. The smoke of memory still clings to me, but its hold is weakening with each step I take. I've stopped inhaling the toxic sweetness of what could have been. Instead, I breathe in the cool night air, letting it fill my lungs and clear my mind. The past may linger, but it no longer defines me. I am more than the ashes of what was burned. In the distance, a train rumbles by, its windows a blur of warm light against the darkness. For a moment, I'm tempted by the idea of escape, of leaving this city of shadows and illusions behind. But I know that wherever I go, I'll carry this fire within me. It's not something I can run from, nor something I want to leave behind. As I near the end of my journey, I find myself back where I started. The alley looks different now, or perhaps it's me who's changed. The shadows don't seem as deep, the darkness not as impenetrable. My eyes have adjusted, or maybe my inner light has grown stronger. I pull out a match, rolling it between my fingers. For a moment, I consider striking it, watching it flare to life in defiance of the night. But I tuck it away again, smiling to myself. I don't need to prove my fire to anyone, least of all myself. The world may prefer sparks that fizzle before they mean anything, but I've learned the value of a steady burn. My warmth may be hidden, tucked beneath layers no one gets to peel, but it's there, always there, fueling every step, every breath, every moment of truth in a world built on echoes. As I turn towards home, I feel a sense of peace settling over me. The anger has resigned itself to clarity. The wounds have become wisdom. I am no longer the bright, exposed flame I once was, but neither am I extinguished. I've become something else entirely, a fire that burns from within, lighting my way through the darkest nights. The city sleeps around me, but I am awake, live, burning. I am no longer the bright, exposed flame I once was, but neither am I extinguished. Mirrors with no faces. The city breathes in neon and exhales shadows, a living paradox of light and darkness. Skyscrapers pierce the sky like glass needles, their reflective surfaces a kaleidoscope of fractured realities. I've walked these streets, a solitary figure in a sea of faces that seem more like masks than flesh. Streetlights flicker, casting an eerie glow on the pavement. Each step I take echoes off the concrete, a rhythm that feels out of sync with the pulsing heartbeat of the city. The air is thick with the scent of possibility and regret, a heady mixture that clings to my skin like a second layer of clothing. I pass by storefronts, their windows gleaming with promises too good to be true. Designer clothes hang on mannequins with perfect postures and vacant eyes. They stare out at the world, unblinking, unfeeling, a mockery of the human form. I wonder, for a moment, if the people rushing by are any different from these plastic figures. A woman in a crisp business suit walks past, her heels clicking a staccato beat against the sidewalk. Her face is a carefully constructed facade, all sharp angles and practiced smiles. She nods at a passerby, a gesture so rehearsed it could be a scene from a play. I watch as the interaction unfolds, a dance of social niceties that feels hollow and performative. The city is a stage, and we are all actors playing our parts, some with more conviction than others, but all of us trapped in roles we didn't choose. I see it in the tired eyes of the barista handing out coffee with a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. I hear in the forced laughter of colleagues sharing an after-work drink, their camaraderie as artificial as the sweetener in their cocktails. A gust of wind carries the faint melody of a street musician, the notes bending and twisting as they navigate the urban canyons. It's a haunting tune, one that speaks of longing and loss. I pause, letting the music wash over me, a moment of authenticity in a world of pretense. My reflection catches my eye in the polished surface of a parked car. For a second, I don't recognize myself. The image staring back at me is smoother, more polished, a version of me that fits better into this glossy world. It's tempting, this illusion of perfection. I could lose myself in it, become another face in the crowd, indistinguishable from the rest. But something inside me rebels against this idea. I turn away from the reflection, choosing instead to focus on the rough edges of my being, the imperfections that make me real. The city may try to smooth out my edges, to mold me into something more palatable, but I resist. I continue my walk, passing by a group of teenagers huddled around their phones. Their faces are bathed in the blue glow of screens, eyes fixed on virtual worlds more vibrant than the one around them. They laugh and gesture, but their interactions feel disconnected, as if they're each living in their own private universe. A homeless man sits on the corner, his weathered face a map of hardships. He holds out a cup, his eyes meeting mine for a brief moment. In that instant, I see a spark of something genuine, a flicker of humanity that stands in stark contrast to the polished facades surrounding us. I drop a coin into his cup, a small act of connection in a city that thrives on disconnection. The sun begins to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. The city's lights come to life, a constellation of artificial stars that outshine the real ones hidden behind a veil of pollution. The transition from day to night is seamless, as if the city never truly sleeps, just shifts into a different mode of existence. I find myself in front of a department store, its windows a showcase of the latest fashion trends. Mannequins pose in frozen tableaus, their plastic smiles eerily reminiscent of the people I've passed on the street. I stare at my reflection, superimposed over these lifeless figures, a ghostly image caught between two worlds. For a moment, I'm tempted to step inside, to lose myself in the racks of clothes and the promise of transformation they offer. But I know that any change would be superficial, a new mask to wear over my true self. I turn away, choosing instead to embrace the complexities and contradictions that make me who I am. As night fully descends, the city takes on a different character. The neon signs grow brighter, their garish colors bleeding into the darkness. People emerge from office buildings and subway stations, their daytime personas slipping away as they seek out nighttime diversions. The air is electric with the possibility and danger, a potent cocktail that intoxicates the senses. I pass by a nightclub, its entrance guarded by velvet ropes and stern-faced bouncers. Its balance, the bass from inside thrums through the sidewalk, a primal heartbeat calling out to those seeking escape. A line of people wait to enter, each one carefully cultivated to project an image of effortless cool. I wonder how many of them truly feel the confidence they display, and how many are just playing a part they think they should. A couple stumbles out of a bar, their laughter too loud, their movements too exaggerated. They're putting on a show of happiness, but I can see the cracks in their performance. Their eyes are a little too bright, their smiles a little too wide. They're chasing a feeling, trying to fill a void with noise and movement. I find myself drawn to a small park, a pocket of green amidst the concrete and glass. The trees here are stunted things, struggling to grow in the harsh urban environment, but they persist, reaching for a sky they can barely see. Sit on a bench, feeling the rough wood beneath my fingers, a texture that feels more real than anything else I've encountered tonight. In the relative quiet of this space, I can hear the city's true voice. It's a cacophony of car horns and distant sirens, of laughter and arguments, of dreams being born and dying in the same breath. It's a reminder that beneath the polished surface, there's a raw, beating heart to this place. I close my eyes, letting the sounds wash over me. In this moment, I feel more myself than I have all night. Away from the reflective surfaces and the expectations of others, I can reconnect with the core of who I am. It's not perfect or polished, but it's real. As I open my eyes, I see the first hints of dawn breaking over the horizon. The sky lightens, pushing back the artificial glow of the city. It's a reminder that no matter how much we try to control and shape our environment, nature has its own rhythms that can't be denied. I stand, stretching muscles stiff from sitting. The city is quieter now, caught in that liminal space between night and day. Early risers begin to emerge, their faces still soft with sleep, not yet hardened into the masks they'll wear for the rest of the day. As I make my way home, I pass by the same storefronts, the same reflective surfaces that tried to reshape me earlier. But now, in the gentle light of dawn, they seem less imposing, less able to distort my sense of self. I catch glimpses of my reflection, but I no longer see a stranger staring back at me. I carry my true face within me, guarded and nurtured in the quiet spaces of my heart. It's a face shaped by experiences, both bitter and sweet, by moments of joy and sorrow, by the countless small decisions that make up a life. It's not a face that fits easily into the glossy world of the city, but it's mine, okay? And I wouldn't trade it for all the polished perfection in the world. The city awakens fully, the cycle beginning anew, okay? But I walk through it with a renewed sense of self. It's grounded in the knowledge that beneath the reflections and illusions, there's a truth that can't be bent or broken. And in that truth, I find my home. The room with locked windows. In the depths of my soul, I've carved out a sanctuary, a fortress built from the fragments of my being, key that I've withheld from the world's prying eyes. Each wall, a testament to my guarded heart, stands tall and unyielding. It's a barrier between my truth and their lies. The room breathes with me, its pulse in sync with mine, a living extension of my innermost thoughts. Here, in this sacred space, I am both creator and creation. Windows line the walls, their panes clouded and still, refusing to let in the cacophony of outside expectations. Okay, they exist as a reminder of what lies beyond, but remain steadfastly closed to preserve my solitude. Slivers of light seep through the heavy curtains, casting long shadows across the floor. It's just enough illumination to navigate my inner landscape, but not so bright as to expose my vulnerabilities. In the corner, an old armchair waits patiently, its worn fabric a map of countless hours spent in contemplation. I sink into its embrace when I need to reconnect with myself, feeling the weight of my thoughts settle into familiar grooves. The chair never judges, never asks for more than I can give, simply holds me, a silent guardian of my introspection. Across the room, a desk stands sentinel, its surface a chaotic sea of half-finished thoughts and raw emotions. Pages upon pages of unshared poetry and prose litter its top, each one a piece of my soul, too precious to release into the world. Some words gleam like polished gems, too pure for careless hands. Others are jagged and sharp, dangerous to touch without context. They are mine alone, a private dialogue between self and psyche. A mug of tea sits forgotten, its contents long since gone cold. I never drink while I write, preferring the thirst that keeps me tethered here, okay, in this realm of introspection and brutal honesty. Outside these walls, I hear the world's applause for hollow performances, for masks worn with practiced ease and smiles that never reach the eyes. But in here, I celebrate the profound quiet, the soft rustle of paper and the whisper of pen on page. As night falls, the walls seem to inhale and exhale with me, a living barrier against the storms of doubt and fear that rage beyond. Yet, when I need it, when my soul cries out for cleansing, they allow the gentle patter of rain to soothe my restless mind. Around my neck, a key hangs on a delicate chain, not to keep others out, but to remind me of my own potential for intrusion. For sometimes, I am my own worst enemy, seeking to break down the very walls I have so carefully constructed. The lock remains engaged, a final line of defense, till I feel the stirring of strength deep within my core. Only then will I consider unlocking the windows, letting my carefully tended inner fire dance with the wild winds of the outside world. This room, this sacred space of self-discovery, is where I retreat when the world becomes too loud. It's too demanding of pieces of myself I'm not ready to give. Here, I can shed the layers of pretense and expectation, stripping down to the raw essence of who I truly am. No judgment, no pressure, just the honest reflection of my own gaze. The silence here is not empty, but full of potential. It's pregnant with unspoken truths and half-formed ideas. It's a silence that nurtures rather than suffocates, allowing my thoughts to unfurl like delicate flower petals. I've lined the walls with memories and dreams, some too fragile to share, others too powerful to ignore. They form a tapestry of my journey, a visual representation of the path I've walked to reach this point. In one corner, a small bookshelf stands, filled not with the words of others, but with journals of my own making. Each volume is a time capsule, preserving moments of clarity and confusion, joy and sorrow, all equally valuable in the grand scheme of self-understanding. I run my fingers along their spines, feeling the texture of years gone by, remembering the person I was when I filled those pages, and marveling at the growth that has brought me to where I am now. A single candle flickers on the windowsill, its flame a reminder of the inner light I'm nurturing. Sometimes it burns bright and steady, other times it wavers, threatened by gusts of self-doubt. But it never goes out, not in this room where I tend it so carefully. The floor beneath my feet is worn smooth, a testament to the countless hours I've spent pacing, working through problems, rehearsing conversations I may never have. Each step is a meditation, a rhythmic connection to my inner self. There's a mirror on one wall, but it's often covered, not out of fear or shame, but because I'm learning to see myself through the lens of my own perception, not the reflection of others' expectations. When I do uncover it, I look not at my surface, but deep into my own eyes, searching for the truth that lies within. It's a practice in honesty, in facing myself without flinching. The air in this room is thick with the possibility. It's charged with the energy of thoughts unexpressed and dreams unrealized. It's here that I gather my strength, piece by piece, building myself from the inside out. I collect moments of courage like precious stones, storing them in a jar on my desk, ready to be poured out when I need them most. This is where I practice my voice, testing the sound of my truth in whispers and shouts, learning the cadence of my authentic self. It's a slow process, this rebuilding of spirit. But in this room, time moves differently. It's no rush, no deadline, just a steady progression towards wholeness. I know that one day I'll feel the urge to open those windows to let my carefully cultivated inner strength meet the challenges of the world beyond these walls. But for now, I remain here in this sanctuary of self, gathering my power, honing my truth, preparing for the day when I'll emerge, not as a shadow of who I once was, but as the fullest, most authentic version of myself. Until then, the room remains my refuge, a space where I can be entirely, unapologetically me, safe in the knowledge that here, in this fortress built of introspection and self-love, I am always enough, exactly as I am. You've made it here. You listened. You breathed. And maybe, just maybe, you felt a little less alone in the quiet. Let this calm stay with you. Let the night wrap around you like a promise. And remember, Even the fleeting can be eternal. Okay. If these words helped you drift tonight, stay close. There's more waiting for you in the next glow. Good night.